Alright, back to the Theoreticus Heresy. So, you guys have heard my intro, if y'all been watching this a dozen times. Here we go.
As the Gellerfield slowly flickered and died upon the fist of iron, the ship was left at the mercy of the Neverborn that caressed the iron flesh of the ship with their claws. A strange contagion began to infect the ship. First, only the ship's crew and Legion serfs seemed to be susceptible to the disease, their flesh slowly bloating and distending, creating a foul stench as pus and other bodily fluids began to ooze from their ears, eyes, nose, and mouths.
I love listening to this right after I finished eating.
The Legion itself was unconcerned, for they were Astartes, and as the Emperor himself decreed, no sickness would blight them. However, they were terribly wrong. Soon the contagion began to affect members of the Legion, but unlike those mortal humans who were infected, it seemed that the disease was even more agonizing for the Astartes to suffer through, feeling their bodies buckle and rot from the inside out. Worse yet, the disease began to affect the Primarch, Ferrus Manus. The liquid metal of his arms began to oxidize and corrode, turning from gleaming silver to dull red rust.
I agree with this.
The infection began to travel up his arms, the flesh beginning to peel from his bones as his skin bubbled and blistered, pus-filled cysts growing and bursting with the stench of rot and decay. Around him, Ferrus Manus began to watch his Legion succumb to this otherworldly sickness, seeing his sons vomit up their own internal organs and collapse before their bodies began to slowly liquefy into a putrid sludge. In his desperation, he begged for aid, for someone, anyone, to spare him and his Legion. He would give his very soul to save his Legion. And with that offer came salvation from the oldest power within the warp. The dead began to rise, and those still living began to no longer feel pain and discomfort from the sickness. The Iron Hands were forever changed, their armor encrusted with slime and vile filth. Those with bionics found their prosthetics corroded and caked with rust. Ferrus Manus himself found that his armor bore a new sigil. Instead of the shining hand of iron, it was now skeletal, engraved with a trio of orb-like skulls. Gone now were the Iron Hands, and in their place were born the Hands of Decay, foul, plague-ridden parodies of the once proud and noble Astartes they once were. Nurgle's new champion, Ferrus Manus, ordered, with a voice now sickly wet and raspy, for his Legion to rejoin the War Master, so that they may bring Nurgle's gifts to his brothers. The traitorous host began to emerge from the warp in the outskirts of the Sol system. The Phalanx was the first ship to arrive, followed by the rest of the Imperial Fist's fleet. The newly christened Flesh Wolves would arrive soon after, as did the Blood Angels, Raven Guard, Dark Angels, White Scars, and Ultramarines. The Iron Hands were the last to arrive, and now even their ships had changed. Once proud gleaming obelisks of silver and black were bare rusted metal. Even in the sterile environment of the Void, the Iron Hands emitted an aura of corruption and decay.
That's just nasty. Alright, so that is the one that you guys told me was going to be coming up, but that's the one I agree with actually the most, sitting down and thinking about it. If Ferrus Manus killed Fulgrim, I could see him going down this kind of pit of despair that would lead him into pretty much Nurgle's hands. In any case, moving right along with episode 34.
as the traitor armada prepared to attack. Rogel Dawn ordered for Rabute Gilliman's fleet to form a blockade around Terra. As the largest legion, the Ultramarines would be the perfect rearguard to prevent any returning loyalists from reinforcing Terra. Corax was ordered to establish a zone within the orbit of Mars to attempt and acquire resources of ships and ammunition from the Forge World. Upon the new flagship of the Raven Guard, the Avenger, Corax nodded and ordered his forces to set course for Mars, while the rest of the Armada continued towards Terra. The Raven Guard disgorged drop pods and Thunderhawk gunship from their barges, which descended towards Mars to convince the Mechanicum to reconsider their neutrality in this war. On the view screen, he could see numerous explosions light up the outer atmosphere of Mars. The bridge crew reported that the dropships were being shot down. Corvus Corax simply assumed it was the planetary defense batteries of Mars itself. But the incoming frantic reports from the bridge crew debunked that assumption. On a direct intercept course for the Raven Guard was the full might of the Death Guard fleet. Mortarion, standing upon the command lectern of his flagship, the Endurance, raised his massive Man Reaper, Silence, at the screen and ordered his fleet to open fire. A great void battle erupted within the orbit of Mars. Streaks of lance and torpedo fire lit up the void, along with the kaleidoscopic flashes of void shield impacts as intercept craft flew between the great ships, engaging in dogfights with one another. Mortarion ordered the Death Shroud to make ready the boarding torpedoes. Mortarion wished to cut down his traitorous brother, personally. Rogel Dawn received word that the Raven Guard fleet was under attack, but he dismissed their concerns.
Nice.
They simply needed to keep the Death Guard at bay, while the rest of the army took the palace as soon as possible.
Yeah, I doubt that. You're going against
He gave the order, and like rain, millions of drop pods and gunships descended onto Terra, lighting up the atmosphere, turning the once pale blue sky to a fiery red, while the ships in orbit would bombard the orbital defense platforms and weapons batteries upon the surface. Perturabo ordered the defense systems to open fire, and with thunderous booms, massive weapons batteries the size of small mountains began to discharge their shots into the sky. Streaks of blinding laser fire and flak impacting thousands upon thousands of traitor ships and drop pods, causing them to explode like some vile fireworks display. Upon the Invincible Reason, Lionel Johnson prepared to board his personal Stormbird dropship alongside the veteran warriors of the Deathwing. As the ship descended to the planet's surface, leaving a burning trail within the atmosphere, a single Astartes, clad in Corvus pattern power armor, said that he had an important message for the Primarch.
Okay.
As Lionel Johnson inquired about this message, the Astartes' response was simple. I am Alpharius. The spy from Istvan had revealed himself at last, and detonated a concealed melter charge hidden upon his person, causing a massive explosion within the Stormbird's hull, causing many of the Dark Angels on board to be sucked out of the now gaping hole in the dropship.
Nice.
Including Lionel Johnson himself, who fell hundreds of feet and impacted into the ground with a sickening crunch. The Lion slowly opened his eyes and sat up in agony. He looked at the sight above him, watching his personal dropship impact into the planet's surface, and with a deafening eruption of smoke and fire, growled to himself in frustration and rage.
I just started grinning when I heard I am Alpharius, because the sheer fact of the matter is, I was waiting for something to happen of that extent. In any case, I'm also going to be checking out 35 and 36 tonight, but one of the things about Ferrus Manus, when Mortarion first fell to chaos and then he revealed himself to The others, when he walked into the command briefing, he was causing pretty much everyone to lose their shit. He was just disgustingly putrid. When you can make an Astartes puke up in their helmet, you've done something very special that not many people can claim to do. In any case, that's it for this one. We're gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep the intros to just the bare bones with me talking about what I liked about other videos and the series as far as a whole. You guys have seen me enough. In any case, like and subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys next time.